Thank you very much for having me today, Monica and Xavi. Well, I'm going to start with a brief introduction about our work together. Alberto and I, we started to work together in 2009 because both we were interested in the relationships between humans, non-humans, and technology. The project that you can see here at Sónar+D is Other Intelligences, but I'm briefly going to introduce you how we finish doing this kind of stuff. During my thesis, I doing this kind of stuff, body-world interfaces, because I wanted to create something to enhance human capabilities by using technology. One of them was environment dress, a body-world interface that allowed the people to be aware about environmental stuff, like changes in humidity, UV radiation, and these kind of things that our human sensors, that our human capabilities does not alert us about that. On the other hand, in parallel to this research about enhancing human capabilities, we have been researching about plants. We have been researching about how we can measure something about plants. And in 2009, by a mistake in the code, we discovered an algorithm that allow us to measure changes in the electricity of the plants. And we can adjust these sensors and we can measure these kind of changes in the electricity. And we realized that these changes are related to the surrounding of the plant, like changes in humidity, atmospheric pressure, proximity of humans, proximity of other plants, and so on. So the first formalization that we did with this sensor was Chlorophylla 3.0. Chlorophylla 3.0 was an installation in which we put this sensor and we connect to several plants in a small garden, and we translate this electrical activity into sounds. As I mentioned, on the other hand, we were working with the human body, and we were working about how we can enhance human capabilities. And we realized that plants are more sensitive than humans. So in one point, we thought, what if we put together this sensor? What if we put together Chlorophylla 3.0 in a wearable stuff? And is why we developed symbiotic interaction, a body-world interface in which we put plants into a backpack and we connect these plants to the sensors in order to create a symbiotic relationship between humans and plants. This is another view of this wearable stuff, and this is the back of the backpack in which we had 5 plants connected. And me, as a human, as a performer, I feel the environment and I feel my surrounding through the changes in the plants that I perceive by changes in sound, colors, and the graphics that you can see in this kind of globe. Another different works in this deep research about plant was the Plant Sense, a work in which we develop a wearable stuff to feel the plants in our own body, to feel the plants through our skin. But in this work, we realized that these wearable devices allow just the performer to feel the plants. And we wanted to go forward, and we wanted to allow the public also to experience the plants. So it's because we also developed this kind of soft interface to pick up in your hands and to feel the plants. This is how the whole installation is, and it was the result. A cyborg garden in which the plants controls the whole garden. I mean, here we have 16 plants connected to sensors, and this data from the plants comes into a server in the installation, and the feedback from the plants can be perceived for the public through these purple interfaces that the people can pick up in their hands, and also through these kind of white cyber plants. And of course, if you can wear the wearable stuff, you can feel in your own skin how the plants feel the environment. I'm gonna show you a short video. Okay, the next step to this work that you have already seen was Beyond Human Perception. Beyond Human Perception is a work that we developed during the pandemic, and it's based on this experiment. In 2019, we were invited to a short art residency in Norway, and we developed an experiment in which we connect one human with this stuff to measure their brain activity, and we connect one plant to one of our sensors. And we became really shocked when we saw that the human brain react at the same time that the plant. So based on that, we developed a new experiment in which we create a series of concerts for plants and humans in order to compare the reactions of both living beings to the same stimuli, in this case, live and improvised music. We develop all our staff, the sensors and the holders of the sensors to develop this thing. And we use the open BCI sensors to measure the human brain. And we work with 3 professional musicians. And we ask them to play improvised music to plants and humans. And we record 4 short concerts in which they play this improvised music for humans and plants. Meanwhile, we were recording the data from both living beings. This is the backstage of the recording with 4 laptops recording data and of the humans and the plants. And we developed all this experiment without knowing if it will work or not. And afterwards, we use the mathematics, because Alberto has a background in mathematics, and we use the fast Fourier transform to transform this data from plants and humans. And afterwards, we use our own algorithm to create a visualization about how humans and plants perceive this live music. And this was the result. Actually, we become really shocked, because if we lost the name of the file, we cannot distinguish between humans and plants. This is one human, and one plant. Meanwhile, we're listening to this improvised music. Well, we have 30 minutes video. You can find the entire video in our website. We have been showing this project around the world. This is the display of the project in which we show a video installation. And also, we show part of this display in which we add one screen to see the real-time data of one of the plants in the exhibitions. This is the sensor. And well, now I'm going to explain the project that you can see here in the project area, that is other intelligences. I developed other intelligences during my postdoc at Oslo Metropolitan University between 2020 and 2023. We become inspired by this project from the nature, because as you probably know, in the nature, trees and plants can communicate and even send information and nutrients. So we were thinking if we can make or reproduce that by using technology and houseplants. So we developed this stuff. This is a sensor in which we use the sensor that we developed to measure the electrical activity of the plant. And we also add some actuators in order to allow the plants to communicate each other. We add a servo motor that makes some movements, and we add LEDs to allow the plants to send messages to another plants. And we also add a set of environmental sensors in order to record the environmental data and the surrounding. We develop this stuff by using do-yourself sensors and 3D printed. And once we have the 25 sensors produced, we send the sensors to 25 houses around the world. And the people set up this stuff in these house plants. We choose just 3 kinds of plants: Monstera, peace lily, and Swedish ivy. And we started to record the data in these countries: Spain, Norway, Mexico, Belgium, the UK, and Denmark. And well, this is our control panel. And I want to say that at the beginning it was very random. We set up all the sensors and we distribute the sensors in different countries. And at the beginning it was very random, nothing makes sense. But after 3 weeks, more or less, we started to recognize patterns in the conversations between plants and in the behavior. For instance, one thing is when people lost internet at home and the other plants try to call this plant continuously. So how it works? Well, we connect the plant and we have the electrical activity of the plants. Depending on this electrical activity of this curve, if something changes in this electrical activity, the plant sends a signal to another plant in another part of the world. And this plant receives the signal by changes in colors of movement. And these other plants decide to answer or not to the first one. And if the plant answers in less than 2 minutes, we define that it's communication between plants. This is how it looks like. These are the pink light and the movements. The tools that the plant have to send the message to another plant in the network. Well, we still have the network working. At the beginning, we had 25 plants, and after finishing the postdoc and finishing the funding, we keep 6 plants connected. And this is the visualization of the conversation of 2 plants during 127 days from Mexico to Oslo. The way to read the picture is from the center to the way. So we can read each of these bubbles represent the conversations, the change of information between the plants. And in our website, you can check the different visualizations and different conversations between our 25 plants. Thank you very much.